Power Hour LSU. Boom!
All night long. Yes.
Let's freaking go! I am so high on life right now after a fantastic weekend in Shreveport. I was so happy to meet so many of you, and we'll talk about that coming up. But I do want to start off today's live stream talking about the LSU baseball team. They obviously have a few more games coming up in the next week, but a 3-0 start to the season. Obviously, the level of competition isn't where you expect it to be. Also, like many of you, you guys come here for football. I am like many of you. Do I like LSU baseball? Yes, I do. Is it hard for me to watch this early in the season? Yes, right? Because you do see some absolute ridiculous takes about the team, whether it is a level of competition or if a really good team struggles out the gate, which LSU baseball didn't. But to be honest, I'm just not worried whether or not they're winning or losing at this point, because right now you're just trying to figure out what your team looks like moving forward. And obviously, you know, for guys like Cam Johnson, yeah, went in the absolute best weekend. But when you look at an offense that wins 27-5, that excites you. So big shout out to Jay Johnson and the crew. Also excited for LSU women's basketball tomorrow. A very interesting game. We'll talk about that as well. Now, I do want to make a huge announcement here that we are recording and putting out a ton of interviews. We've actually already recorded all the interviews from this weekend at the Shreveport Arklatex Memorabilia Card Show. And I got to talk to 5 future LSU Tigers. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear from Xavier Debo Atkins, Joseph Big Hoss Crier, Ahmad BREAUX, Gabriel Reliford, and so on and so on. We've already released our Tyron Singleton interview. So that will be something you guys will need to check out after this live stream. If you've not checked it out already, I essentially put a $1,000 wager on him making the first round of the NFL draft. That is going to be a very shocking result. I bet Tyron Singleton, if he does make the first round, I will give him my most valuable card in my collection. So hopefully, I am rooting for the kid. Obviously, it would be a pretty cool thing if he actually does come through and becomes a first-round pick. But there is a greedy, selfish piece of me that is also rooting against them, because I do not want to give away my most valuable card, which is my Tyrann Mathieu card. We say hi to Tony the Tiger. We say hi to Travis. We say hi to a lot of you out there in PHL Nation. So, you know, for me, the story that has made the headlines has continued to be the Trey Holly situation, okay? I tend to focus on the positive, right? But for me, this is a big story. Not only from a Trey Holly standpoint, not only from a real life standpoint, but also just from a standpoint where LSU's running back room could get very shallow, could get very thin in a very short period of time without it actually being due to injury or anything like that. So Trey Holly released a statement today, and it will actually over the past 48 hours, and he says he is innocent, okay? So we will let all of it play out, but I'm still going to stand by the simple truth that LSU is going to need more running backs than just what they have now, right? Trey Holly not being in the picture leaves LSU with 3 scholarship guys. Caden Durham, a true freshman, Caleb Jackson, a year 2 guy, and Josh Williams. Can you survive a season with only 3 scholarship running backs on your roster? You can, but you're pushing it, right? Running backs can also be factors in special teams as well. Could they do something else at running back? Yeah, there are guys on this team who can go out there and carry the football for you. Obviously, Harold Perkins has a rushing touchdown to his name, but they probably want him to play defense. There are guys on this team that you could see carrying the football. But as of right now, I think LSU is going to want to get another running back in this room. And it's also going to be fascinating because spring football is around the corner. And last spring, LSU only had 2 scholarship running backs then, but in the fall, they ended up having 8. Okay, so things can change in an instant. They really can. We say hi also to James. Tyler couldn't make it out this weekend. That's okay. We say hi to Chance as well. He says running backs and defensive line are suspiciously thin. I agree. This is a really, really tough predicament to be in if you are LSU. I think they feel way more concerned about defensive line than they do running back. But as you'll see, when these interviews begin to leak out, I asked both Gabriel Relaford and Ahmad BREAUX if it's motivating them, because they hear things, they see things, they acknowledge things. Does it motivate you when you have the pundits out there, and I'm a pundit, we're all kind of pundits to a certain degree, that say, look, LSU needs to go get more defensive linemen. And they are motivated by that because that essentially means that people like me and people out there are doubting their ability to play year one. Now, they're not doubting them individually, but I, along with everyone else, is worried about the LSU defensive line depth. Okay. I think Relaford and Ahmad BREAUX both see themselves as strong side defensive ends in Blake Baker's system. So that means they need more defensive tackles, right? I'm not so sure if Relaford is going to play DT. I think he can some, but I don't think that that's the position he feels most comfortable with. You'll see, obviously, when the interviews come out. And Ahmad BREAUX is going to be an end, right? He's not really a defensive tackle, but maybe he could get bigger than he already is and play that position. He is a thumbnail image. Ahmad BREAUX, really excited about him. He is such a great story. He shared some of his background and, you know, how he's from Lafayette originally. It's a really, really, really fun story. And then Gabriel Relaford, I spent as much time talking to his parents, and I learned this weekend his parents are PHLers. They watch me pretty regularly. You know, it's interesting. You see a lot of the same people commenting and their names flashing up on the screen. Understand when you're commenting, you're being watched by everyone, players, parents, boosters. I'm fortunate to have a lot of people that are watching me. I'm sometimes shocked by that. I also, and this is personal for me, I've got to start, or before I move any further, I do need to shout out Ty Christiana and Roy's kids and everyone with this event, the Arclitex Memorabilia Card Show. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. And we had some pretty gnarly stuff. There was a guy who actually drove from Houston who is actually a fan of the football card show that I do. He drove from Houston just to come meet me. Just I was like, that's just so cool. We also had Dex, Big Dex. You see him in the chat quite a bit. He drove 3 hours, 3 freaking hours to come be a part of it. And he actually, I didn't know he was doing this. He shot and edited every interview outside of one of them. I didn't know he was doing that. So he just surprised you at that. And that's why the Tyron Singleton interview looked so good. And then I want to just thank everyone. There's a few others who made the drive. Janice made a 1-hour drive, and she's not really a sports card person. She's just a fan of PHL. I appreciate her, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And you'll see we got some really good content hanging out with the PHLers. It's definitely cool, this community we built, and it's good. It's really, really, really good. What's hi to Tank? What's up? Tank's dad, actually. Good to see you. Sibs, what's up? I drove through Sibley, Louisiana yesterday. LD88 as well. Good to see you. And yeah, Chance, they watch in the background. So there you go. I didn't know that. I really didn't. They came up to me and they told me. I was like, I'm honored. I love watching your son play. Something else. Every one of these kids feels like that they can play right away. Okay. There's really only one player of the 5 that I interviewed that we could say with pretty near certainty will not play in year 1. And that's Big Hoss, Joseph Cryer. The LSU offensive line is loaded. Now, could he get one of the backup roles? Yeah, he could. All right. But honestly, if you're a defensive player at LSU, and just for those that don't know, Joseph Big Hoss Cryer will probably be the next interview we drop. He was a late addition to the autograph signing. Okay. So I love talking to him, and I love talking to his parents. It's going to be awesome once you see this interview. The other 4 players, and it's not just those 4 players. It's any player that plays defense for LSU. You have got a shot to play. You have got a really good shot to play next season. Okay? It doesn't matter what position you play. Playing time is legitimately available for every single player. Okay? Not 1, not 2, but all 11 of the spots. Okay? I don't know if I could say that about pretty much any LSU defense I could remember. Even going into last season, we knew for sure Mekhi Wingo and Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson were probably going to be the defense tackles. Not this year. Okay? We know for sure Tank Guillory will probably start and or play a lot. We know Savion Jones is going to be in this mix, but nobody's job is for certain locked in. Okay? So I'm really excited. I do want to chat about this, and I will not go deep into detail because I actually chose to edit some of the interviews, right? So I have someone else editing it, and then I put together some final touches on it. I did not watch the LSU basketball game today because of that. I think the sound came back. I don't know why. I think StreamYard just went crazy here. I do want to shout out the LSU men's basketball team, though. I saw the result. They went on the road and beat Lamont Paris's number 11th ranked South Carolina team. Okay. What did I tell you, though, about LSU men's basketball? Okay. Their close game luck in SEC play has sucked. All right. So I understand that some of us, and by some of us, Sibley is definitely one of them. Okay. You don't like Matt McMahon. All right. And I get it. I'm not on fire about him either. They do have a tendency to get blown out a little too often for my liking over the last couple of seasons, right? Under Matt McMahon's leadership. But they have gotten so close on the road winning some of these games, going on the road and playing Florida, going on the road and playing Georgia, to where they lost on buzzer beater situations. And today they beat South Carolina on the road by 1. Okay. Now, once again, Didn't watch a second of the game. All right. Totally locked in on cutting interviews. They take forever. I'm so happy Dex is helping me with this. But they're 13-12 right now. Okay. If you would have told me after and there he is right there, the big man, the guy putting together these fun interviews we're doing. If you would have told me after I went in person to see them lose to Nicholls State, if you would have told me they would have been 13-12 and they would have close road losses to Georgia on the road, Florida on the road, and actually finally get over the hump versus South Carolina, I love it. Abso-freaking-lutely love it. Okay. And I misspoke. The game was on Saturday. Okay. I was actually doing the interviews that Saturday or Sunday. So I really wasn't paying attention to that. I was keeping up, obviously, with some with LSU baseball, but I was super busy yesterday. So here's what I'll say. Okay. Close game luck is just that. And LSU has just lost a lot of these 50-50 games. Nicholls State, they hit the buzzer beater. Florida, they're able to win late. So, when you're on the road and it's a close game, you're doing something good. It's hard to go on the road and win in the SEC, and they did it this weekend. So shout out to Matt McMahon. My full apologies to him for not watching a second of the game or any of the highlights. Okay. I need to do better as an LSU basketball fan. Okay. It is on me. So Matt McMahon, I'm sorry. You are part of my most viral tweet I've ever had, though. As you can see, also, this was one of my favorite Christmas gifts. A Billy's Boudin t-shirt. Okay. Shout him out. I love Boudin. All right. So I actually had some Boudin from Shreveport. I don't remember the name of it. A PHL viewer named DJ Pizza. Yeah, that's his name. DJ Pizza brought me some of the Boudin. Both times we've done a PHL meetup, he's gotten it for me. Okay. It's so good. I mean, it's up there with Billy's. It's really good. It's a different type of Boudin ball that they do. But Boudin is great in all shape, forms, and fashions. I'll eat a pork chop stuffed Boudin. Pork chop stuffed Boudin. Boudin stuffed inside of a pork chop. I should have said that smoother. Boudin stuffed inside a chicken. The inside of my body is Boudin. The issue is I'm supposed to be on a diet. I cheated on that diet. Got some Boudin. Got me a Rotolo's calzone. So, unlike my guy Holden Mayo, I've not respected my body this weekend. I have not. Red K-Dog. I love it, man. You're probably the most talented person on this live stream. So, I got to meet him this weekend. He's also a photographer and all of that. And I'm glad you mentioned this. The players signed some stuff for me to give away here on PHL. So Tyron Singleton, from the bottom of his heart, wants you to have this signed Tyron Singleton photo right here. Okay? First $20 super chat will get this in the mail from your boy. Okay? Now, let's chat some LSU baseball here. Yeah, I started it. I mentioned it. Looking forward to see what they do versus UCA tomorrow. Central Arkansas. Okay? I don't really care if they win or lose. What I am worried about, okay, and this would be my only pet peeve with LSU baseball, okay? My only one is why on earth would you ever schedule Stony Brook to come to Baton Rouge and play baseball? No way. And this game in until Friday, by the way. I saw this on the schedule before I was getting ready for a live stream. You never schedule Stony Brook in baseball. What they did to me in that super regional has never left my soul. Okay. Losing that super for some reason hurt me as much as happiness I gain. I didn't say that smoothly at all. That hurt me more than the happiness I had when we've actually won any national championship. Okay. You do not want Stony Brook. That was a great story, though. That was a great story. Oh, man, my friends were dogging me about that. How do you lose the Stony Brook? DJ Pizza, what's good? Bergeron's was the name of it. Shout out to Pizza. Pierce says, first step to respecting your body is disrespecting your body. Absolutely. Chris, yes. Dude, I don't know why that one hurt so bad. It was such a good story. No, it wasn't. That sucked. Stony Brook. Okay. Men's basketball coach is good. Once he gets his recruiting in place, his team will compete with anyone. Yeah, this is what I'll say about Matt McMahon. All right, and I'll discuss anything football related. All right. Do I think he's a great coach? I'm not going to say he's great. I'm fine with good though. Okay, and I understand that sounds stupid. You should never settle for good. Well, true, but you also have to understand expectation. You also got to understand rationality. Okay, if you were to list every single football coach in college football right now, Brian Kelly's probably going to be on every top 10 list. Okay. If you're to list every women's basketball coach right now, okay, I think most would have Kim Mulkey in their top 10 list. All right. If you were to list every softball coach in America right now, Bet Torina's probably in the top 10 or 15. I don't know. Okay. So LSU's got so many great coaches in so many different sports that not every one of them is going to be a home run. Okay. Now, in theory, could they be? Yeah, sure. There's no salary cap on how much you can pay coaches. You can have an infinite amount of great coaches. But I'm okay with Matt McMahon just being good because honestly, you know, we're not a basketball program that's supposed to be elite every single year. If you give me one Sweet 16 every 4 or 5 years, I can live with that as an LSU men's basketball fan. Okay. I can live with that. Now, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then of course, to me, the arguably the best coach on campus, you can make a case for Jay Johnson. All right. Uh, you know, it kind of feels like he's on the verge of being something truly transcendent at LSU. Okay. I actually only 3 games into it, but you know, you talk to people around the program that feel really good about the macro. You got to think about the big picture. You know, you lose a really good pitching coach to another SEC team, and not a whole lot of people felt really bad about that. You know, Wes Johnson was a Major League Baseball coach and then went back to the SEC level, and then now with Georgia. LSU still feels great. They still feel great. They feel deeper. Thank you so much, Rita. I really appreciate it. Got you, Jordan. Jordan went skiing this weekend. Let's go to Chris. Jay will need to find protection for White in the lineup. What is that on my screen? for White in the lineup. Yeah, Tommy White. What they have him batting second right now. Yeah, it's crazy the transition you go from, Dylan Cruz getting on base so often and not being greedy, not swinging for the fences like every single time, and you're getting fat stuff thrown over the middle because Dylan Cruz is on base. He put pressure on the pitchers. It's going to be a little bit different for Tommy, but we'll see. Travinsky, Jones should be a fun team. Should be a really fun team. But there you go. Let's go to Dwayne. Speaking of rationality, the Will Wade ride or die crew that chooses him over LSU can you know what? Yeah, it's easy in retrospect with the Will Wade story. Okay. Did LSU absolutely need to fire him? I would say probably not. They didn't absolutely positively need to, but I understood the logic and the rationale behind it. Okay. There's a lot, right? Whether it's the bank accounts and the strong offers or whatever, we just kind of have to move on from it. We just do. And yes, is Will Wade ridiculous in what he's doing at McNeese this year? Is it ridiculous? Yeah, sure. But to be honest, I've just not lost as much sleep over it as many of you. Maybe it is because I'm so football focused all the time, but it's just it's just not really my thing to just get that mad over something in the past. Okay. But it could just be that it could just be that I've just kind of turned the page. All right. Let's go to Nyquilla Gorilla Killa. That is a great name. Carter, do you think Aaron Anderson could be supplemental in the run game? Could be a way to get him on the field and get him the ball. He has similar measurables to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not saying he is CEH. Okay. So let me pull up Aaron Anderson's profile on LSU Sports, and let me see what his weight is. Okay. First thing you should always look for in a running back is his weight. And, well, this is where your hypothetical runs into an issue. Okay. One thing I like about Aaron Anderson is his build, right? He is a short, stocky guy. He's got a good, thick build. And you guys know I like thickness in college football. He's only 190, though. Okay. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when he got to LSU, was in the under 200 category, which is very concerning for a running back. Aaron Anderson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was up to 208. All right. So 208 is not the perfect weight to play running back, but it's still a very good weight. Okay. You want to be 210 to 220. That to me is the golden range for SEC running backs. It's hard. It's hard to get to that weight, man. And I had a long conversation with one of the players this weekend about weight gain. And they're really picking my brain about it because they one of them knew of my breakdowns and videos and all of that. And I was honest with them, man. Your weight at the Division I level matters. It really, really, really does. Now, yeah, there are some undersized guys that aren't the heaviest that are good football players, like Trent Holiday, of course, but he was supersonically fast. You got to have that size, man. Big shout out to John Sibley Butler, and he will be the winner of our Tyron Singleton autograph. There you go. Congratulations. And we're halfway to 100. Once again, if we hit 100, we send out Joe Burrow autographs. There you go. Let's go to Sibley. Carter, recruiting North Louisiana has really gotten better. Bama used to own that space, and LSU sort of recruited it. How do you see it changing in the future? How do I find the attitude in Shreveport? This is a very good question, and it's something to always keep in mind when it comes to LSU football. Okay. Will South Louisiana always be crazier about LSU football than North Louisiana? Sure, it will be because it's just proximity. You're just closer to the campus. Where in North Louisiana, you do see some TCU stuff. I saw some at the show this weekend. You do see some Texas fans. There are some people in Shreveport that care a little bit more about the Cowboys or the Saints or whatever. But being in North Louisiana for a full day and quite a bit, they still love them some LSU football. Yes, it's a little bit more Louisiana Tech and ULM and all of that, but North Louisiana is still an LSU state, right? You see how much North Louisiana means to Will Campbell, right? And North Louisiana has been very good for us lately. And it's always been very good for us, to be honest. It seems like every class has at least one, on average, North Louisiana guy that is just an absolute beast. And you're right. Bama used to really take care of business there. Cam Robinson is obviously the most famous example of this, Hootie Jones and so on. But yeah, I mean, this has just been a good turn and it's good for the brand, right? You know, we are a country that loves regionalism. Okay. We love Louisiana. And if you had the whole state locked down at the Power Five level, it's a really cool dynamic. It gives you major advantages in recruiting, it gives you major advantages in terms of perception. It also gives you major advantages in terms of sales, money, revenue. Um, you know, I experienced this growing up in South Arkansas. The Razorbacks had the entire state. The issue is Arkansas does not produce even a sliver of the same amount of talent as LSU does or Louisiana does. It's not even close. And in fact, a lot of the great Arkansas players were from Louisiana. They were non LSU Louisiana guys that went there and were good players for them. So it's insane, man, how important it is to have the entire state. And even though people said Brian Kelly wouldn't be a culture fit, the when it comes to recruiting, you hear him talk about two things: locking down the state of Louisiana and focusing in on high school recruiting. Okay. And look, I will always shout out North Louisiana. It's just how it is. Okay. Now I don't live in North Louisiana. I don't talk about North Louisiana every single day like a guy like Sean Fox does. He's a really close friend of the show, one of the first guests we've ever had on here. I've been on Sean's show a lot recently. And but I'll tell you this. The constant trashing of North Louisiana from South Louisianians is stupid. I've never quite understood it. Yes, Baton Rouge and New Orleans and surrounding areas. The food's better. It is more Louisiana culture, sure. But North Louisiana is great too. Okay. And I love the attitude in Shreveport. I really do. All right. And I think LSU will still dominate the state. I will also tell you this, though. The one team that I keep going back to that I think could be a major player in the future is SMU. Okay. SMU has money. All right, Sibley, you know this. Obviously, knowing who you know in Texas. SMU is 2 hours away from Shreveport. Okay. So you can live in Dallas, a fun city, get a bag, sure. Play against weaker competition and dominate, sure. You know, there's going to be some bonuses to that. But after speaking to all these guys this weekend, you know, NIL is just not really that big of a deal to them. The big thing is the brand equity that comes along with playing for LSU. Okay. The Rustin Rifle. DJ Pizza, because he brought me some boudin this weekend, was able to walk away with a Burt Jones autograph card. I forgot. Actually, that card I was going to list for $20. I put it in my $10 box. Congrats to you, man. Congrats to you. Let's go to Nyquilla again. He wants to follow up with this Aaron Anderson question. I'm having trouble imagining Aaron in the offense. Maybe they can give him a depot type of role. Yeah, this would be my retort to that, Nyquilla. Okay. Number one, how many players in the NFL have a Debo Samuel type of role? Okay. The answer is probably no one. Okay. The NFL's been interesting to me. So, for those that don't know, I started an NFL channel. It's called Power Hour NFL. I posted 5 videos after like the first day or so. YouTube took down the channel for whatever reason. And now that they took down the channel, I had a grand total of 25 views on all 5 of the videos. Since then, those same 5 videos all have 20K views or more. So my NFL channel just kind of blew up in like a week, and I've not posted it in a while. And they were all Super Bowl like kind of film studies, and I studied Debo Samuel quite a bit. And there really is only one of these kind of players. Okay, now are there some guys that could do the Debo role if like they asked him to? Yeah, I think like a guy like Jamar Chase could, but the truth is, I'm not sure if anyone could just go out there and do it. All right. The Debo role is hard, and he's regressed some. I mean, he gets hurt a lot. So it's a weird role. I've talked to different OCs who I rely on for like film information and stuff like that. And I've asked about the Debo role, and they said, well, Carter, it's also Kyle Shanahan. How many people call plays as good as him? Not many. So, obviously the Dolphins use Tyreek in the Debo role. The issue for me, Nyquilla, with Aaron Anderson is I am not sure if even Aaron Anderson is the player on this team that is best suited for the Debo role. I think that player is Xavier Thomas. Okay. And it's just one of those things. Like, I understand I've kind of been labeled the Xavier Thomas guy. I've talked about him so much on this channel, even when he wasn't committed to LSU, which he is right now, signed to LSU, which he is right now. He is one of the best high school wide receivers I've ever seen this in the state of Louisiana. I mean, I really enjoyed him. Now, is he going to be as good as like the real legendary LSU wide receivers or just Louisiana wide receivers, Jamar, Odell, Devonta Smith? Probably not, but I graded him that good. Like, I thought he was going to be great. And so far, he's been very good at Mississippi State. I don't know if he's going to reach an all SEC level tier, but I think if there's a player on the team they're going to use like that, it's going to be him, right? He's one of those guys you just need to get the football to in his hands. His cutting ability, he's short, stocky. Him and Aaron Anderson are very similar in build, but 2 things working against Aaron Anderson is, number one, is the injury history. He had some knee issues. He's been very hurt throughout his career. And then the second thing that's working against him is the age, right? Now, it's not like it's not him being age like out of his prime. I saw someone mention that when talking about a college player, and I thought that was the dumbest thing in the world. Where I think age matters, though, is if you're older for your recruiting cycle, and I believe Aaron Anderson was older for his recruiting cycle, and you dominate in high school, well, that makes sense because you're older than everyone. There's a lot of studies that show that you're older than everyone. What gets really impressive is if you're younger than everyone and you dominate everyone in your class. If you're younger than everyone, that means you might not have even hit your peak just yet, which is crazy, right? Chris, what's good, man? But yeah, I hope Aaron Anderson works out. I really, really, really do. But it's going to be tough, man. Like him and Xavier Thomas are in the same recruiting class. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a great battle for who's going to get the touches next year. So there we go. What we might do tomorrow, I'm still trying to decide. We might actually drop all 3 of the remaining interviews. And there's one I'm editing as well, the Debo Atkins interview. And big shout out to James. James just hit the PHL shop. There you go. Love to see it, man. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. I really appreciate you, big dog. Let me see this. And this will be the final time because I don't want you to get an Aaron Anderson hater. I just give you my honest view on how things are. So you follow up, not trying to put words in your mouth there. He's saying he's kind of falling behind the rest of the room. I was expecting a lot from Anderson. Hopefully he can bounce back. Here's one thing that where I'll defend him. Okay. The punt return situation was very weird. Okay. It was very, very weird. And I think he deserved another shot. But the injuries were still an issue this year for him. And it looked as if, based on where his high school tape was to where he is now, he doesn't look as explosive as many thought he would be. But he's still young. He's still only going into year 3 this next year. So you could see a major breakout. But for me, if you're a top 100 wide receiver, you would normally like to see something special by year 2. Okay. And up to this point, there really hasn't been a play that he's made that's been special. And he's made some really good plays. I mean, the Arkansas catch to move the chains in the first half versus Razorbacks was a really good catch by him. But we've yet to see him make like a special Division I college football play. The one guy, though, that has really moved himself up the ranks more than anyone is Chris Hilton, though. Out of any of the LSU wide receivers, he has really he has helped himself out more than anybody. We know he's really fast, but in the game versus Wisconsin, he showed the ability to make difficult plays. Okay. So there you go. Bill Belichick says the best quarterback he's ever seen in person was Burt Jones. Okay. I'll tell you this about Burt Jones. Okay. He is the most laid back guy I think I've ever met. Okay. I've shared this before. I don't really know Burt well, but his best friend is also a close friend of mine. Right. Good guy. He's just a really, really solid guy. So there you go. Let me see. Let's go to Dex. Really enjoyed my time with Dex this weekend. Carter meeting the guys. Cryer, RELIFORD, BREAUX, Singleton. I can feel a chip on their shoulder this weekend. They are totally bought in and standing tall on athletes in 318 in North Louisiana. It does matter to them in a major way. It really, really, really does. Especially with the final 3. I've said what I said earlier about Cryer. I like Cryer. The other three are very interesting players because, you know, they're all really good guys, fun talking to them, all that good stuff. But they're also guys that have, you know, some positional ambiguity. Okay. Um, what is their best role? Singleton a safety, or is he like a hybrid, crazy athletic linebacker? Is Bro an end, or do you bulk him up and play tackle? He's going to be an end. Relaford, is he more of an end or a tackle? It's going to come down to how he takes weight, right? But I will say all three of them feel like they're going to work very hard to be successful. The guy that I spoke to the most and had probably the deepest interview was Debo Atkins, right? Um, and that will come out this week. I might save that one for next Sunday because it was pretty deep. Um, his story is really freaking good. And it is amazing how many people got wrong why he actually transferred to Texas, um, or he transferred high schools to a high school in Texas. He just wanted to prove himself at a higher level. That was basically it. It wasn't really um, a whole lot more than that, and he did. I mean, he played better versus that competition than he did in Louisiana. Um, I like Debo a lot as a player too. He has got some sideline to sideline ability that you can't teach. Athletically, he has got the speed you want in a modern linebacker. Um, Reminds me a lot of Debo Jones, right? Um, just nasty, nasty speed. Not the biggest guy. And obviously, you know, the big hurdle for him is going to be the size, right? You get a little bigger. But God, dude, he is just so unfreaking believably fast for a linebacker. And he is so dead set on being an elite linebacker. Um, so I'm excited about that. I really am. Let's go here. Um, let's see here. Did that JUCO deal ever commit somewhere? I think his last name was Muhammad. Uh, did Jaleel Muhammad commit somewhere? Let me see. I can look that up for you. I do not think so. Now, really appreciate the merch, Chris. All right. Let me go through this really quickly. New laptop has been kind of weird for me when it comes to rotating or pushing through my photos. Really appreciate meeting Janice this weekend. She walked away with a Tyron Matthew jersey. It's good to see her and her son making the trip. Alan Germany, good guy right here. This was Lex. He's a football player in Northwood. That's cool stuff. There's me and Debo right there. Roger Dodger was our on-site producer. I really appreciate Roger. And there we go. It's me and Black Goatee. Good to see him this weekend. Got to see his wife Dee for a little bit. And this is a crew right here. Dex. They rolled deep, man. It was so much fun. I was still pissed about the Eddie Kennison stuff. Okay. Also met Bob Starkey's best friend, or one of his really close friends, Coach Snell right here. Really good guy. Man, just so many people. There we go. Ty Christiana, you saw him last week here. And then, of course, Elite College Football stopped by. So crazy. Absolutely crazy week. Got the Ole Miss color scheme on. Only time you'll see me rock that color scheme is rocking the Billy's boot and shirt. It is Ole Missy, right? I thought about changing it, but I was like, I gotta hold down. Gotta hold down for one of my favorite boot and companies that took my wedding to the next level. Okay. Eddie Kinnison works for LSU football. I was going to ask you that, Pegasus. I've kind of been out of the combine chatter. Do they run the 40? Okay. Obviously, the 40-yard dash has its own little like atmosphere to it. Okay. And you look at the 40-yard dash and how much faster the players run at pro days. Okay. They freaking fly at pro days. They really do. Okay. The combine, though, is where everything is equal. Everybody's running the same 40-yard dash. Everybody's running it in a building that they're not familiar with in Indy. Do they run at the combine? They might wait till the pro day because they both have first-round grades at this point. It would take a pretty big leap of epic proportions from other players to jump them in the first round. But I would lean towards no at this point. I hope they do, though, because I would love nothing more than to see what those guys run. Now, I've touched on everything I wanted to touch on tonight, but I'm not mad with Eddie K. I'm not mad at all, unless you're bringing that up to Todd. Love Eddie Kinnison. Oh, I was referencing earlier. So I had a really nice Eddie Kinnison card, and I shipped it. And well, I'm trying to remember the full story. Okay, it was my favorite Eddie Kinnison card. I had just gotten it in the mail. Okay, and Eddie Kinnison's friends watch this channel. Okay, and it was Red K Dog, I believe, who had the Eddie Kinnison card. He won the Eddie Kinnison card. Okay, and he said, "Hey, and it's rare because like I try to have cards of like every single player, and Eddie Kinnison is like a player that like no one ever requests. Like when I used to do the merch myself, like I was like, hey, if you want a player's autograph or if you want a player card, you let me know. And Red K Dog was like, "Hey, I want Eddie Kinnison." I was like, "You're in luck. I have an Eddie Kinnison autograph Saints card. Not many of those out there because he only played 1 year with the Saints." So I'd sent it to him, got lost in the mail. And that's when I said earlier I was mad because I love that card. Okay. I could probably find one, but still. Yes. So I was trying to remember if it was you or Red K Dog, but we talked about it this weekend. God, dude, I was so mad about that. And I believed him. I believe that it was lost. I had to resend, I think, another shirt and everything like that. God, man, whoever has that Eddie Kennison card, please stand up. It was such a beautiful Saints Eddie Kennison. There you go. Sid knows him too. Was he related to Sam Kennison? No. Well, they might have been. I don't know. Especially him, Pegasus, because Marvin Harrison's not like a blazer. I guess that's not really what he's known for. Okay. But the only pro LSU hot take I'll have is Marvin Harrison will not have the same career that Malik Neighbors has. I would say the same thing in Malik and never played it down at LSU. I think Malik Neighbors is that freaking good. I really do think so. Okay. I really, really, really do think so. Mm. All right. Soapbox time. All right. And it's a true chance. It comes down to your QB, right? Organization QB matters so much in the NFL. Matters a lot in college too, but still. All right. Soapbox time. All right. If you guys don't mind, I need to go on a rant. I just do. All right. Yesterday I had one of my funnest days. Every Arklatex memorabilia card show I do is my favorite Power Hour LSU thing to do. I'm mixing all my favorite things in the world: sports cards, LSU football, meeting young athletes, and of course, like these are 5 athletes that are still trying to make their name, where we've had more proven commodities at other ones, right? Dre Jenkins obviously is a proven, really good LSU football player, and Patrick Queen reached the highest level you could reach, being a Pro Bowler this year. And I normally women's basketball 5-star players are great, and Michaela Williams is great. So with these 5 guys, you really don't know if any of them are going to absolutely be studs. Okay. I kind of like that. I kind of like, interviewing players that have something to prove. I also like interviewing people that have proven something. But it was such a fun event. So I leave that event, drive home. The only thing I would say about it, it's exhausting, right? Because, I'm making sports card deals, giving out other sports cards deals, um, hanging out with PHLers, all that stuff's great. But it's exhausting and I just want to relax. I want to relax. I get home, turn on the NBA All-Star Weekend. The only thing that was good was the Steph Curry and Sabrina shootout. The dunk contest. What the hell was that? We can't have the dunk contest continue. It is time for it to stop. The judging is terrible, but even worse, the dunks are terrible. They all look the same. Maybe every dunk that can be done has already been done, but the dunk contest needs a reckoning. It needs maybe a big name star that actually will go out there and do something like a Zion Williamson. I don't know what it needs, but it needs to go. All right. And now everyone's bitching about the All-Star game because no one's playing hard or whatever. You know, it drives me wild. It drives me wild. Okay. NBA All-Star Weekend sucks. It just does. It used to be the best All-Star Weekend. It just sucks. It needs there needs to be something done about it. It's a huge deal to me. You know, every year I watch the NBA All-Star announcements, right? But you know, this is it, LD88. We've had a ton of dunks from the free throw line in the dunk contest since then. Hell, Zach LaVine did a between the legs dunk from the free throw line. Now, what I'm not belittling Michael Jordan. That was the best dunk of that era. It was still a crazy dunk. The photos are so iconic. Maybe every dunk has been done, but my wife could tell you, I went berserk at how bad that dunk contest was. It really was that bad. It was so bad. Don't care to ever watch it again, to be honest. But I know I will because I freaking love the NBA. It's a love-hate relationship for me. So John Sibley liked Mac McClung. Mac McClung was good. Michael and Dominique made it great. Yeah, I mean, it was two superstars, Hall of Famers going back to back, head to head. Vince Carter will always be my favorite. But really, the best was Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine. That was the best dunk contest I will ever see. But really, the Dwight Howard, Nate Robinson, those are fun too. Those are a lot of fun. Spud Webb from way back in the day. What's up, Mick? Good to see you. There you go. But I had to get that off. I was so pissed last night, y'all. I just didn't know what to do. Aaron Gordon got robbed twice. That's how bad it was. But it worked out. If you were to tell him, hey, would you rather have the dunk contest or would you rather have the ring that you won last year? He would tell you the ring. Yeah, Jay Madison. It's pissing me off, dude. Or it's just pissing me off. It's just like the Steph and Sabrina thing. I'm looking forward to that. I love that. You know, 3-point line. That was really good. Like Sabrina absolutely lit it up. I would love to see more of that. Maybe more head-to-head kind of stuff like that. I love the man versus women. I think that's great. It's good for women's sports. It's good for the NBA as well. You know, maybe you know one thing that would be really cool would be like a one-on-one contest one-on-one contests, 16-person tourney. If you sign up, you sign up. All right. And the winner gets $1 million. Who's not watching that? One-on-one contest, winner gets $1 million. I would be thrilled to see that, because being a great one-on-one player is a completely different thing than being a great NBA player. All right. Like a guy like Carmelo Anthony could have legitimately won that over um like a LeBron James or someone like that. Um and you got to think about it. What a one-on-one contest would do is it is one of the most common forms of basketball played, right? Now there is a lot of 5-on-5 basketball played. But outside of 5-on-5, one-on-one is most commonly played, right? In practice and drills and just random pickup situations between brothers, between family members. I would like to see NBAers in a one-on-one contest, right? Is Lance Hurd the only PHO guest to transfer out of LSU? I don't know. I don't know. We've had a few. Jack Besh also transferred. But yeah. Yeah, so you're saying Jay Madison just random people doing a dunk contest. Yeah, but then it takes away from, I mean, it is NBA All-Star weekend, right? If you can. Please be like James. Go to powerhourlsu.com/shop. Okay. I'm going to give you one little extra little info here at the end. Okay. I couldn't believe this. All right. It's not like anything crazy what I'm about to say. Um a guy who is a big part of the success of the current form of LSU football, um, DM'd me this morning. Okay. And I personally have never spoken to this person. Never. I know people that know him. All right. So maybe that's how this connection was made. I don't know. Um, but we would not have the success we would have had up to this point had it not been for this person. And he reached out to me asking about some PHO merch. Thought it was pretty cool. So I know this person probably wishes to remain anonymous. I want to say thank you. Okay. Now, if this person just happens to be watching this, um, if you want me to say who you are, I will happily do it. And no, I'm not making this up. So go to powerlsu.com/shop. It's a good way to support independent creators like me. That made my weekend, and I had a pretty awesome freaking weekend. Okay. Les Miles confirmed. No, it is not Les Miles. So while I don't know I've never spoken to this person. Obviously, I know him. I know of this person. I have talked about him glowingly, and maybe one of you could connect the dots and figure out who that was. I was shocked because I'm not like a big Instagrammer. And when an Instagram message comes in with a blue check mark, it just seems kind of official. And I suck at the gram. I don't have a good body. I That's kind of half of the battle with being good at Instagram. So there you go. Yeah, LD8A, we talked about that briefly a little bit earlier. I do want to show you guys something. This is pretty crazy. All right. I promise you, I did not think that this was going to happen. And it's still done. It's kind of shocking how this doesn't pull up immediately. Okay. So this is nuts. I did not expect this to happen, especially when each one of these videos had like 5 views each. See, as you can see, these videos kind of went off. All right. I just started this channel, Power Hour NFL. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers before I could start making money on this, which is crazy. Every one of these videos has, I said 20K, 18K. These lag a little bit behind from time to time. But yeah, please go support. I appreciate you that appreciate some of you that supported from the get-go. And yeah, I'm going to be turning out more NFL stuff, right? Because of the draft, the NFL offseason just isn't as brutal. So I appreciate y'all's support on that. Thank you so much. All right. Now, the party continues. I'll be chatting in the Discord briefly and complaining more about the NBA All-Star Weekend. So come hang out. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, we're doing stakes. Let's go. And of course, 2 top super chatters, James and John Sibley Butler. James, the big merch buyer tonight. Appreciate you and Sibs. Thank you so much. Let's go. Let's go.